Hello. Today too, you are welcome to week 4 tutorial, ITS tutorial. I'm sure by now you are finding your way around Word documents. So this will be the last in the series of Word tutorial that we are going to have for you. Today, what we are doing is try to proofread our document to see any errors that we have in our document. All right, so let's head on. We go to File, which is also known as the Backstage view. So we click on File, then we go to the option More. Then we select Options. Then it will give us Word options. From here, we choose from the list Proofing. We click on it. So these are your setup for your proofing. So you can see that from here we have ignore words in uppercase. So all the ones that have been checked means that you are telling the computer to check on those things. For when you say ignore words in uppercase, let me just close this document and show you how it looks like. So for instance, if I type something like class in capitals, so CLASSS, which is class, it means I've typed 3 of the S's, but then Word didn't say anything. Why? Because when you go to the file and open the proofing, I told Word to ignore anything uppercase. It is ignore. So when I uncheck this, it means I'm asking Word not to ignore. You should understand it. When I check it by taking it, it means ignore it even when it is wrong. Uppercase means when my capital letter, I type in capital letters is wrong, ignore it. So when I go to OK, as I've unchecked it now, you will see that it has underlined the word classes, telling me that there is an error with the word. So you can actually uncheck it so that anytime you type in capitals, Word will be to recognize that what you have typed is either wrong or right. So these are, when I right click on the word underlined with red wavy lines, it gives me the options to choose which one I really wanted to use. So let me choose the word class. So that is proofing. When you go to proofing in Word, you do the setup as to how you want it to be. So you can check and uncheck the items there to do the setup. So you can read through the list of items that you have. Ignore words that contains numbers. Ignore internet and file addresses. So this is what you are asking Word to ignore. You can uncheck them if you want to. Now when you come further down, check spellings as you type. That is has been ticked. Mark grammar errors as you type. So it means that when there's a grammatical error in your work, Word will check it out for you by underlining it, either with a wavy red line, a wavy blue line, or a wavy green line. We'll understand what they all means later on in the video tutorial. Okay, so these are the setups you can do from here. The next on our menu that we want to look at is try and use the review tab to further do our more checks. So when I go to review tab on the ribbon and click on it, I have the proofing group where I can check spellings and grammar from there. So I can actually click on spellings and grammar. It tells me it has been checked. There is nothing wrong. So let's just make a mistake and say going, and I type it with a double N. It has even auto-corrected it when I press space. It auto-corrected. So going to, so class going to school and coming into school. So we want to just type whatever we want to type and see if it will do some corrections for us. So let's get on with it. So let me say review. So let me just type it the way that I would want Word to underline it for me. So okay, so I have reviewed, typed in a weird way. So when I go to spelling and grammar check and click on it, this time around, it does an assessment by highlighting the word that I typed the way it's not correct. So when you come to the right side of the document, it's trying to suggest for me what I really wanted to. So you have the suggestions here, and now these are the suggestions. So which are the suggestions I want to select? So if the first one, I just might click on it, and then it applies the suggested suggestion that I've made. As soon as I did that, the grammar is still asking me, there is another suggestion that is good for me. So class going, it has actually underlined it. In this case, when I check the class going, you can see there is a blue line under it. When I click on it again, I have class going. It means that possibly there's a space that I'm supposed to close up. So when I pick the suggestions, it applies and say that everything that I wanted is now solved from here. Now, the funny thing is that from this same place, from Review tab, we can ask Word to read our document for us. So you can see the speech. So when I click on Read Aloud, let's see what happens. So as I did that and click on read aloud, it read my document for me. So we can actually use this part to read our document. Another important feature here that we want to look at is the comment area. So when, let's say I have a document that I don't want to change the content, but then prompt you as to what you should do, I can just click at the side. Let me just add another sentence and say, I am not coming. So that I have two sentences now. So if I select the first one and put comments and click on comments, it then gives me the opportunity to comment on my work. Okay, so in this, so I have to choose new comments because this one is say show comment. I've not really selected any comments. So I go to new comments. When I click on new comments, it gives me a place where I want to pass a comment on what you have. So let's say check it well. That is a comment I want to pass. So anytime you pick this document, you can actually see the comments that I've passed on your document. If in case I don't want to use the comment again, I can actually delete the comment from the delete option. So you can actually pass comments on your document so you don't make changes to what the person has done. When the person picks up this document, the person can choose to accept the changes that you have suggested for the person. So anytime I click on the comment area, it gives me the opportunity to see the comments that I have. So when that document is sent to someone, the person can choose to accept the changes or not to accept the changes from the comment that you have. All right. So these are the few things we can do in the review tab. So normally what people do is that after adding the comment, then it's highlight or activate the track changes. So when I select the track changes, it means that anytime any change is made to this document, I will be able to see any change that is made to this document. I will be able to see. So these are the few things we can do in the review tab of our documents. Okay, so let's continue. Now we made mention of the fact that when you type and then there is a blue line as we saw, and then we have green wavy lines and red wavy lines. Basically, let's see what this actually means. So normally when I have a red wavy line, usually means a spelling error. So let's say I made an error when I was spelling the work. So it will just give me a red wavy line. So let's say I'm typing nympha, for instance. I'm giving this example. Word underlines nympha for me. Because why? This is not a spelling error, but then the word doesn't know that local name that I've typed. So I can right click on that word and tell Word to either ignore it, or I can actually ask Word to add it to the dictionaries, because this is a word that is not, it's a local name the Word doesn't know. So when I add it to dictionary, it stops the underlining of the document. It stops the underlining of the document. So if it's a wrongly spelled word, then you can right click on it and choose the correct spelling. But if it's just a local name that Word doesn't know and it underlines it with a red wavy line, you right click on it and add it to dictionary. Or you can click on ignore as I selected to continue from that point. But if it's a spelling error, genuine one, you right click on it and you select the option. So let me say cocoa, then I do it, it has even auto-corrected. So let me write this a cool. Let me just type cocoa this way and see it underlines it for me. Let me right click on it and it gives me the suggestions. So with these suggestions, I can pick the correct one and then Word will accept those suggestions and put it there up for me so that I can continue with my document. Normally with a blue wavy line, it actually suggests a grammatical error. Grammatical error. So let's say your sentence, the grammar is not adding up. So let me just try a few. So an example is what I have in this sentence. The boys is going to school. So it gave me a blue wavy line because grammatically this sentence is wrong. The boys is going to school. So I right click on the is and I take the suggestion that is given to me. So I select the are and the correction is made. So I have the grammatical error corrected. Now the last one, as we mentioned, is the green wavy lines. The green wavy lines in word, under a word means the word or phrase might contain a grammatical error. It might contain a grammatical error. So let's understand the three all. Blue wavy lines means that there is a grammatical error. Blue wavy lines. Green wavy lines under your word means the word or phrase might contain a grammatical error. And a red wavy line under your word means that there is a spelling mistake or possibly word doesn't know the word that you've put there, like a name or a local name, that word doesn't know. So it might not necessarily be a spelling mistake, but might mean that word doesn't know the word. So you have to add it to the dictionary. I believe you understand it perfectly. Now, from this point, we are going to another important topic known as mail merge. Mail merge. So this is what we are going to do. Let's open a new page for our work. So I've opened a new document. Now in mail merge, what we are trying to do is that take it that the University of Cape Coast giving admissions to thousands of students. They cannot be typing separate letters for each student for all the programs that you have. So what they do is to do a mail merge. Mail merge is where you have all your recipients put in one category. Their addresses, their first name, their last name put in other categories. Then you instruct Word to pick names of the students that you want to admit and insert certain features that is common to all of them. For instance, their addresses, their names, the program that they are going to pursue, the school fees that they are supposed to pay, and their hall of residence. So these are major things you don't want to miss. The address of the students, the full name of the students, the program the person is going to pursue, the hall the person will be in, and the school fees the person is supposed to pay. So these major highlights are things you want to create and put down so they can instruct Word to insert them for you. Let's go ahead. First, we go to Mailing tab. We click on Mailing tab. Then in the Mailing tab, we come to the Start Mail Merge Group. Start Mail Merge Group. Then we click on Start Mail Merge Command. We click on that. A menu will drop down for us and we go to Step-by-Step Mail Merge Wizard. We click on it. Okay, so at this point, you pay attention to this side, the right side of our document. It says step 1 of 6. So we actually have only 6 steps to continue. Okay, step 1 of 6. Now, we are going to use letters. In our case, we are using letters. We are typing letters to students. So we come down and click on Next Starting Document. We click on that. So what we have here is that use the current document. Start from a template. Start from an existing document. So if we do have an existing document that we've typed already that we're going to use, we go and select it. In this our tutorial, we are looking at using the current document to do our work. So we come to step 2 of 6 and click on Select Recipient. So we click on Next, which is Select Recipient. I click on that. And this is the next page that I have. Now, in this next page, it says that use an existing list. So in this case, if I do have the list already of the students that I'm going to admit and I've had the list, I just go to browse to go and pick those existing students from where I'll pick them from. In our case, we are creating an entirely new document. So we are not going to use an existing document. It says select from Outlook contact. No. So we go and type a new list. In this case, we are typing a new list. So we click on type a new list. Okay. So after clicking on type a new list, now what we have to do is that type a new list menu has actually dropped down for us. So we go and click on create. Create. So click on create. And we have this dialog box, new address list. This is where we need to put in the things that we need and not what has been open to us. So we go and customize the columns. Customize column. So we click on customize column. Now these are the fields that Word has suggested to us. Title, first name, last name, company name, blah, blah, and the rest. Now, with this work, I told you initially that we are interested in some things. Yes, we are interested in the title of the student, either Miss, Mr., Prof, or whatever. We are interested in the first name, last name, but we are not interested in company. So we click on company and we come to this side and click on delete to take it out. We go for yes. Address, we are interested in only one of the addresses. So we go to address line 2, we delete address line 2. City, we are not interested in city, so we delete the city. State, no, we take it out. Zip code, we take zip code out. Country or region, we take it out for the purpose of this video. Home phone, we take it out. So to take it out, you must click on it before you delete it. So let's delete work phone as well. Email, if we're going to send this as emails, bulk emails to students, they will need to maintain their email addresses. In this case, we are not sending emails, so we take email out. Now that we've taken this one out, remember I mentioned that some things we need as well. So let's go and add what we need by clicking on add. It gives us this dialog box. One of the things that we need is the fees that the person is supposed to pay. So we type fees and we click on OK. We also add the program that the person is supposed to do. We are interested in the program the person will pursue. So we go and add program. What again? We are interested in your hall. Which hall you'll be residing in. So we add hall and we click on OK. So basically now we have the person's name, address, fees, program, and hall. So these are the things we are interested in. So we go to OK. So these are the fields generated for us. So the title, let's say the first person is Mr. Now to navigate this window, you can actually use the mouse to click in the next column. Or you can use the tab key on the keyboard to move forward. So the first name, let's say the first name is Janet. Then the last name is Yeboah. Then address, let's say box 30 Tema. Box 30 Tema. Let me just type my Tema didn't come well, Tema. Okay. Then the fees. The fees is 3,400. Then the program is BA Arts. Okay, program. Then the hall. So let's go for ATL. So that is the hall. Now, when I press on the tab key, it is very important you should know. Once I've gotten to the last page of the document, I press on the tab key on the keyboard, it adds another cell to it. So let me go for, oh, did I say Mr. Janet? That is interesting. So the first one, let's edit it and make it Miss. Okay, sorry about that. Then let's go for Mr. Then I go to the tab key. Let's go for John. Well, let's go for Kenneth. So the same name, Amoa, box. So on and on and on, I'm going to add more lists to this list as I am going. Now, when you do get to the last stage, you press the tab key to get more filled. Okay, so we have added few more cells. We have Miss Janet Yeboah, and then the details BA Arts, ATL, Mr. Kenneth Amwa. So you have BA Law. So we've added some few cells to what we have. Now, after adding these cells, the next thing that we do is to click on OK. Okay, then it will ask us to save it. So the next time we just want to pick it. This is what we just do. We just go and pick it. So if we had an existing list, this is where we come and pick it from. So let's save it as admission 2024, and then we click on save. So we save it. So this is how it looks like. So we have to then work with this document. Now the funny thing is that if the letters I'm sending, I don't want some people to receive the letter, I can actually uncheck them. When I uncheck this two, it means that when I send the letter, it is only the two people that have the tick on it that are going to receive it. In this case, I want everybody to receive the letter, so I select all of them and go for OK. All right. So now the next thing says that we should write our letter. So the letter that we want to send to the people that we want them to receive it, we want to write it. In this case, I have a drafted letter there already. So I will just quickly copy this drafted letter and then paste it where I'm doing my merge. So I've actually generated my letter. And if you pay attention to what I have here, you see, the important thing is that in this letter, I have the recipient's address, I have the greetings, then I have the ones in bolded format. Let me just take the bold from here. The bolded format are the places I'm going to replace the information that I want. So the recipient address is going to be where the person is going to take the letter. Greetings is going to be the person, the name of the person. And I have program, I have fees, I have horse. I'm going to replace all this. So the letter doesn't sound well. We are pleased to inform you that you have been admitted to pursue program at UCC. It doesn't sound well. Your fee is fees and your whore is whore. It doesn't sound well, but after editing the letter, you appreciate what we have here. Okay. So let's go ahead with what we are going to do. So let me just click on, so in your case, it will be write the letter. So I'm clicking on write the letter. I've already written my letter. So we move to the next stage. So when I click on write the letter, it gives me the next opportunity to insert the things that I need. So first I have the address block. Don't forget that the recipient address is here. Our advice at this point, once we have a placeholder, that's where you want the address to be, I can actually click there and delete the recipient address that I've already indicated there. It was just a placeholder, the place that I want the address to appear. So I come to the address block at the right side and now click. Don't forget, when I deleted that, the insertion point is blinking at that side for me where the address will appear. So I click on address block. Now it asks me, how do I want the address to be? Should it be, let's say, in a format, I have Joshua Randall, and then Junior. I have Joshua, it's a full name. I have Mr. Joshua Randall. So in this form, the question is that how do I want my address to appear? So a preview of the address is shown at the right. So I can actually choose the format of my address. Can be, so let's look at the first one. It is Miss Janet Yeboah, box 30 Tema. When I check the second one, it is, so these are the address format for the people that I have selected. So I can choose how I want the address to be and then preview the way the address will be. In this case, I want it to be full name Joshua, not Josh. So I want the full name format and I click on OK. So inside my word says address block. It has put that word there. Let's come to the greetings and delete the greetings from there. Another insertion point is blinking there. Then when I come to the right side, I have greeting line. I click on greeting line. So the greeting line comes from this way. To greeting line format, I click on the drop down arrow. Should I say to or I say dear? So let's say to Nana Yeboah, to Kenneth Nympha, to let's say Janet Mensah, or I want dear Janet Mensah. So I choose the one that I want. So in this case, I want to maintain the dear. Now I want to see how should it be when I click on this drop down arrow. I ask myself, should I want just the first name of the person to come, or I want Mr. and Mrs., or I want Mr. Joshua Randall, the full name. In this case, I want the full name of the person. So I select, I don't want the Josh, a short form, I want the full name. So I select this option. And from there, I can see Dear Mrs. Kendra Mensah. So it is previewed here for me to see how it will look like. If I had selected any of them, let's say I selected 2, it will be to Mrs. Kendra Mensah. So something like that. I want the dear. So the dear will start. Then I go to OK. It puts the greeting line there for me. Now let me continue to edit the other ones. What I now want to edit is program. So I click at the front of program, and I want to delete program from there so that I'll have that space. So I go to more items, and click on more items. So in this case, the program is what I select. I click program. Don't forget the word program is a title we already have in the work we saved. And the program, we've typed the programs that we are going to give to them there. So I go to insert and I close this dialog box. It has put the word program into bracket here for me. The next thing I want is the fees. So I come to where the fees is, click in front of it and delete fees. So the insertion point is there. I go to more items and then come and click on fees and click on insert. It has inserted the fees for me and I close it. My last item will be the haul. I click in front of the haul and delete the word haul that I put there. Come to more items and select haul and click on insert and close this dialog box. Ladies and gentlemen, from this point, our work is ready. So we are ready to roll. So let's come down here to step 4 of 6 and click on preview your letters. So let's click on preview your letters. Okay, so you can see a sample here. So I have the address, Mrs. Kendra Mensah, box 35, Cape Coast. Dear Miss Kendra Mensah, we are pleased to inform you that you have been admitted to pursue medicine at UCC. Your fee is 7,200 and your hall is in Nkrumah. So you see, it has inserted the various highlights that I put in there. Now I can actually come here, the recipient, and then play the recipient either forward or backwards to see the various letters. As I click, the address and the content changes to the next person. So you can see with just that, I have included the 3 people in this letter. So if I have 1,000 students, all of them will be inserted from this point of one letter that I edited. Now the next one says that we have complete merge. So we can now click on complete merge. Then when I click on complete merge, I have 6 out of 6. But the next one say preview your letters. I don't want to preview my letters again. What I want to do is I want to print the letters. So when I click on print, it will give me, what do I want to print? The current record that shows, or I want to print all of them. In this case, I want to print all of them. So I'll go to OK. So if I had a printer, it will just give me the printer. It will just connect me to the printer and I'll print it. In this case, because I don't have the printer, I want to save this work so that I can print it later. I go to OK. It gives me a dialog box. Then I just type admission list, admission letters. Okay, admission letters 2024. Then I save it on the desktop. I want to save it on the desktop and I click on save. Okay, so it generates my text for me. Now let me close this and just go for don't save. Don't save. Or before then, let me show you something. Before you see it, you close it. You see, I can go for this. I can go to this part of the document and click on finish and merge. If I was sending via mail, I would then select send email messages. Through this point, I can send a bulk email messages to all of them. So in this case, let's go and view our documents. I go for don't save, and then let me go to the desktop to see my document that I have. Okay, so let me go to the desktop of this document. Now, the name was Admission Letters 2024. Let's open it. Admission letters. So I save this work. My first work is here, Miss Janet Yeboah. The next one, I have Mr. Kenneth Amwa. And the third letter, I have Miss Kendra Mensah. So I can print all this. I have the fourth one, Miss Victoria Shen. So I have four letters here. As I did a single document, it has generated four separate documents for me. So that's how to go about your mail merge. Even if there were 1,000 students, after editing just one page or one sheet of my document, it sends the letters or generates letters for thousands of students. So that's how bulk letters are generated. So if you are writing a document to, let's say, a letter to several people, but you don't want to be inserting their names severally at that point, you use mail merge to generate one content and you fit in the various details. And when you finish and you generate your mail merge, it will generate the letters for all the students that you have, putting in their various details individually, as if you worked on the letters one after the other. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's how to go about your mail merge. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. See you another time when we have the Excel to be the next one that we are going to look at. Thank you.